Welcome back, guys. Sorry I haven't posted in a wee while. I've been away with work for a couple of weeks, and I've had to put the third and final part of the Threadripper build on hold at the moment. I've been asked by a family member who goes by the name of Jack to build him a gaming PC. So here we are. All the parts are in. He gave me a budget, which I kind of stuck to, but what he doesn't know is he's getting kind of an upgrade. So I'll quickly run through the parts and we can get started. First of all, we have the CPU. It's a 9600K i5. I'm in two minds whether or not to delid it or not. We'll see how the temps are. If I feel they are high, then I'll pull it apart and I'll delid it. Cooling that, we've got the Corsair H110iGT. That's a 280 AIO. It's hardly been used. I think you've used it a couple of times. That's an upgrade. He didn't buy that. I'm giving him that. I'm also giving him a 4 TB Seagate hard drive for storage. Couple of SSDs for whatever he wants to do. Again, some upgrades. He's got 32 gig of DDR4 Vengeance LPX running to treble 6, but we can overclock that up to 3000 or thereabouts. For the OS drive, excuse me, we'll have a WD Black 256 gig NVMe. That'll just be for the OS. Everything else will be on the SSDs, but there is a second slot on the board on the Strix excuse me, the Z390F Gaming, and I have a 1 TB SATA M.2 that I'll put in as well, so you can use that for gaming. Power on this little beast will be a Corsair RM650. The fans that are going on the AIO, I'll be taking out the Corsair ones and I'll be replacing them with the Noctua 3000 industrial ones, so they can go up to 3000, so there will be a bit of good air coming in from the front of the NZXT H500. That's the case that it's going into. The graphics card, we have a gigabyte RTX 2060. That's the overclocked edition, but I'm sure we can get it overclocked a little bit more. So all in all, that's the parts from the motherboard, power supply, M.2 for the OS, AIO, SSDs, storage, CPU, the 9600K, the RAM, and I got a little light strip freebie when I ordered all the parts. So it'll be, the AIO will go in the front of the H500. So it'll bring in the front, and then I think it's too dark. There's the exhaust fan there, and there's an exhaust fan at the top there. I'm going to probably change them. I've got extra fans here that are a little bit better. So on that note, we'll get started and we will start getting parts installed. This build shouldn't take long, so stay tuned and you'll see it very, very soon. Alright guys, I'm going to cut off there and we will be back with some build updates. Alright guys, see you in a wee bit. Bye. Guys, that's the excuse me, the 280mm AIO installed. There was a little bit of a hiccup with it. The H500 case does say on its specs that it fits a 280 no problem, but as you can see, what I've had to do is just here there was a 2mm lip that popped out the way, so I actually had to Dremel that off and sand it all down, paint it and stuff like that, because there was no way that was fitting the 280mm AIO on the GT version. But it's in now. In the front of that there's two 140mm Noctua fans, so that will bring in sufficient airflow from the front. We're going to jump over to the motherboard. Trying to do this obviously kind of one-handed because I've no cameraman at the moment, or woman, whatever you prefer. I've already taken out the crappy NZXT fans, the one at the back and the one at the top, get them replaced. So yeah, so we'll jump onto the motherboard and we'll get the CPU and the M.2s installed. Okie dokie, so back in a sec. Okay guys, that's the two M.2s installed. This one here, the WD black one, this one here is going to be for the OS. Always check the manual, but usually the one with the heatsink is the one you want for the OS. This one here is for a SATA, as you can see, just obviously for storage. But this one here is for the OS. So I'm just going to tighten these down. They don't need to be that tight, they just need to be finger tight. And same with this one. That's them installed. On the bracket for the M.2, we'll get that lined up. There we go. And it's just a case of grabbing a screw, grab another screw, remember this is very hard to do one-handed. Yeah, that's in. Tighten them down, just finger tight, nothing great. And that's it basically. So that's the M.2s installed. We'll pop in the CPU now. There is the CPU there, 600K, and it's clamshell. So we'll pull that out. And as always, the little triangle goes to the little triangle. In this case, it's the little dot. As you can see right there. So get that pulled back out. Now let's see, I'm right-handed, so let's pull this out. There we go. CPU all nice installed. And all done. So yeah, so we've got the M.2 256 gig for the OS. We've got SATA 1 terabit for some storage, and we can put in, I normally put the RAM in last because it gives a little bit more room to work with. So what we'll do now is we'll cut out, I'll get the H500 over here, and what we'll do is I'll flip it on its side and install the board. So we'll be back in a sec, guys. Right guys, that's the board installed. Pretty easy. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8 screws and a standoff screw on that one there. Still not get the memory in, that'll go in later. What I have done is, and what I've found out about this case is, we've got the HDMI cable here, oh sorry, not HDMI, HD audio. So I've installed that. We've installed the USB on that, which is very, very tight. And we've also got an F panel. Now, I had to look at this, I thought, what the hell's that? And what they're doing now is, well, on the H500s, they're doing all the switches in one connector. So power on, HD, reset, things like that, and it just plugs in. That's a fantastic little idea. I really do like that. This cable here, as you can see, these are chassis fans. They are for, and they are for running pumps, fans and stuff like that. But I like to use fan splitters, and I'll show you that round the back once we get round there. So this basically plugs into, this is chassis fan 2, and it plugs into the fan splitter, and it will run the 2 fans at the front and the 2 fans at the top, which I took time to install as well. These are RGB. They'll be connected up to the top header there. We just need to do some cable management at the back. These cables here are for the pump. The only one I'll be using will be for the SATA, which will be to power the pump. The other 2 will be, we won't need them, to be honest, because of the fan splitter, and we can just turn off the CPU in the BIOS, so it doesn't recognise it. So what we'll do now is we will install the AIO. We'll put some fresh goop on. We'll get the RAM installed, then we'll go round the back, do some cable management, power supply in, graphics card in, and then we'll do a boot. So today we'll see a bit. Oh, also forgot to say, I put the stand and the back plate in for the CPU cooler as well. As you can see, these are loose, but that's normal. You normally get them I did wonder about that, but I just remembered that they're always loose until you tighten them down. So yeah, so we've got one power lead coming out for the graphics card, 24 pin for the motherboard, 8 pin for the CPU, and the rest will be done by SATA power, and that's it. So yeah, back in a minute guys with everything hooked up. See you in a second. There we go guys. That's the build complete from the last little video I did. I just went hell for leather. So what we got is a 2060 RTX gigabit GPU. Popped in the RAM. We've got 32 gig. I know you don't need 32 gig, but you know, the sticks were there and it's family, so they were filled. The AIO was put into place and I used, don't know if you guys have seen this, the Kingpin cooling thermal paste. This stuff is absolutely brilliant. Really good thermal compound. You guys should try it out. Also had kicking about excuse me, the Liann-Li case fans for exhaust. Now these are RGB and they will go into that header right there. I just need to link them up. They're not linked up at the moment. I'm going to see if it posts first. Then what I'll do is link up the RGB on the fans, and pretty much that's the build complete. On the back side, see if I can turn it round, so I'm getting ready to post. Cable management isn't the best at the moment. I'll still to tidy things up with cabling. This is just for obviously testing purposes. This is the splitter that I was telling you about. It's an 8 pin splitter, so additional fans can go in and be run from that. Obviously got the SATA power on that. So if you think the box, I like to control the fans on my system. I don't know if you guys are the same, or if you do it through BIOS or a fan curve or whatever, but if I feel the box is getting warm, then I just quickly open a little tab and I can either bring the box up to 100% fans, drop it down to 50%, which usually it sits at. There's not I don't think there's ever been a time where I've had a system that's been ramped up to 100% other than for testing purposes only. So let's see if this boots. Let's see if it turns on first, and then we can see if we can get a post. So I've all got a wireless keyboard and mouse set up. Let's just move that back over there. And the mouse. Turn on the power supply. We've got light. That's always a good sign. Now hopefully if I've done everything right, and I push the button, fans should spin. So here we go. Okay, so that last boot we had a little problem. One of the SATA cables was faulty. That's why you've seen the fan spin. Then pretty much nothing else after that. So I've swapped out the SATA cable going to the pump. We'll get this posted now, so we'll get the power back on. Give it a second for the juice to fill up the capacitors. I've got my mouse and keyboard ready, they're wireless, going in there. So let's see now if this posts. Here we go, guys. Hang on. And there we go, it posts. So let's see if we can get a post on. So turned off, turned back on again. Let's see if we can get a post on the monitor. There we go, guys, and it's a post straight into BIOS. F1 for setup, and there we go, guys, straight into BIOS. So it does post. So there we go. So both fans spinning. I can feel the fan spinning from the front of the radiator. We can test that out once I get everything installed, the OS, stuff like that. So tidy up the back, and then we can try out the RGB. So yeah, so back shortly, guys. Should have everything hooked up, colours on, RGB lighting working on the fans, and we should be good to go. Right, guys, see you in a second. Right, guys, that's the RGB on the Liann-Li fans all set up. The only change I made was I didn't use the top header. Like I said, I actually used one of the bottom headers. It was actually easier to get to and cable manage. So now the cover's on the back. We will turn this bad boy back on. Give it a second. I've downloaded Windows, and I'm downloading some drivers and stuff like that to load up the PC and get it all ready for Jack. So we'll turn it on, and as you can see, it lights up fantastic. Obviously nothing's going to happen, it's just going to go straight into BIOS. As you can see, 32 gig of memory, 9600K. So yeah, so all we need to do now is load on Windows, load on some fan software to control the fans, graphics card, overclock that, overclock the CPU, memory, and we will be good to go. Make sure we can see the SATA M.2. Load the Windows onto the other NVMe drive that's under the heatsink. Let's just open these blinds. That's a little bit better. And get everything installed for them. It's a cracking little PC. The only thing that gave us a problem was obviously this little lip here. It didn't like the 280mm, so I would advise people, if they were using the GT version, just be wary of using that one and make sure it does fit. So on that note, I'm going to turn this off again and download some more stuff and get it all installed. So we'll get it all installed and we'll show you the final results. Alright guys, see you in a second. Right guys, that is the build complete for Jack. As you can see, the PC is looking sweet. It can obviously fill up the 2 bays with SSDs if he wants to, but he's got plenty of storage. One with the OS, which is NVMe, the other M.2 SATA, which obviously you can see there, and it's 1 TB and a 4 TB mechanical hard drive. Now I've been putting the PC through some stress tests after doing some overclocking, and as you can see, it's been now running for nearly 6 hours, or well over 6 hours, and it's been clocked at 5 gigahertz with temps of, hang on, I'll just bring down the temperatures. Temps are in the 70s. So they don't go above the 70s at 5 gigahertz, which is absolutely phenomenal from the 280 AIO. I've just overclocked the graphics card. It's just a good wee overclock. As you can see, 50 on the core clock and 400 on the memory clock, and that's the fans at 55%, and that will run all day. There'll be no problem with that at all. As you can see, it's sitting at 34 degrees, so it's, you know, it's doing its job. So yeah, so on that note, we can pack things up. I've loaded a few things on to the box for Jack, like CPU-Z, GPU-Z, 8064, all the temperatures, hardware monitor, things like that, just to keep an eye on things. Anything goes wrong, you can give us a call. But like I said, it's been on stress now for, you know, 6.5 hours, and it's looking absolutely fantastic. So I'm happy to give him this PC now, and he can play games till his heart's content. So on that note, I'll get back to ending this last video. And yeah, it's a cracking little PC. It was fun building it. So on to the next one now, which is finish off the Threadripper build, and we'll get this one